This is the second video to help with the Module 2 Reality Check. This is kind of a hard one, right? Like all the words kind of make it seem more complicated than it actually is. So we're going to go through this in a little bit more detail. If you watched the first video, you hopefully have these underlined, these special 680,000 cubic miles of water. We have the radius here, we have our surface area formula. We know 3.14 is for pi. So for this first one, to find the surface area of the Earth, we're just going to use this formula. So we're just going to say, okay, S equals 4 times pi, which we'll use 3.14, and then R, which is 3960, and then squared. Now the answer you should get for this is, let me make sure I write this down right. And this is square miles. Okay, now rather than just copy this down, if you didn't get this answer, I want you to practice and make sure you're able to get this answer on your calculator. Okay, because it doesn't matter, like, yeah, you'll get the points for this assignment, but I want you to make sure you know how to do this so when it comes to quizzes and tests that you're able to calculate it correctly. So that should be the answer you get for the first one. Okay, so we have that surface area for the first one. Now on the second one, it talks about oceans covered about 71% of the Earth. And so we talked about how we're looking for 71% of the surface area. And I'll just say SA for what we found above. Now, if you remember, if we want 71% of, this of, you can also translate it to multiply or times, okay? So we're going to have 71%. Well, we need to change that to a decimal. So we're going to move it over, the decimal over to the left twice, or basically it's like we're dividing by 100. So we have 0.71 times that surface area we found. Let's see if I can write this gigantic number out again. 960,896. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to check that again. 196,960,896. So we want 71% of this surface area, and that will tell us the surface area that is covered by oceans. Okay, so when we calculate this out, we should get 139,842,236. So again, this should be your final answer. You had to round to the nearest square mile. So again, yeah, you can get the points for this problem, but I want you to make sure you're understanding this concept. So make sure you can multiply this out on your calculator, and after rounding that you get this same answer. Okay. All right. Number 3, we have the total rise in sea level in miles that would occur. And I kind of went over this in the first video, so I'm not going to go over it in detail, but we get this by dividing the volume of water, which was that 680,000. We divide that by the surface area of the oceans, which we found right here. So we divide these two numbers. So when we divide this, we're going to get a number, a really small number, like 0.00486, and it goes on. So you can write out the whole number. But the problem is we need to write this to the nearest foot. And so to write this to the nearest foot, we need to change it to feet. So this is in miles. If we know this is how many miles there are, we know in every single mile there's 5,280 feet. Okay? And so when we multiply this, we'll multiply these, and this will tell us how many feet there are. Okay? We know, let's see, and it wants it rounded to the nearest foot. So for this answer, we're going to get 26 feet. Once again, I want you to solve this yourself and make sure you're getting the same answer and that you understand how to get this answer. So what this tells us is that if the ice cap melted, that the water would raise 26 feet. Okay, so this is the total amount it would raise. Okay, so on our last problem, we found out, or on the last number, we found out that the ocean raises 26 feet total if the polar ice caps melt. Well, if the ice caps melt over 200 years at a constant rate, we want to know how many feet it would rise each year. So basically, it's like we're spreading this 26 feet over 200 years. So what operation would you do there? Well, on this one, you're going to say, okay, we have 200 years, and we need to basically spread that 26 feet out. So we're going to divide by 26. When you do 200 divided by 26, you're going to get 0.13. So what does that number mean? That means that every year, if it was constant over 200 years, it would raise 0.13 feet per year. Okay, and so that's the answer there. Now, if we're taking t to represent the number of years after the ice cap began melting, we need to write an expression that represents the increase in sea level after t years. So if it raises 0.13 feet per year, how can we figure out, like if it was 5 years, for example, how would we figure out how much it went? Well, couldn't we just say it's like we add 0.135 times? Or another way we could think of it is 0.13 times 5. So that would tell us how much it raised after 5 years. So back to this question number 5, how can we tell how much it's risen after t years? And you'll need to write that expression. So hopefully this has given you a little more confidence and a start. So just try to go through each problem and just do what that problem asks you. Good luck, and reach out if you need a little more help.